Well, Arlene drove an IndyCar race at Phoenix before I drove my first race at Trenton. And Arlene had been a capable sports car racing driver. She'd been quite good, but she found herself in really an impossible situation, and the stress had to be seen to be believed. I was there at the time. And basically, Arlene blew it. She was a better driver than what she showed there. But the uproar was such that she never got another chance. Well, some of it I could laugh at. Now and then it made me mad. But oh, the shouts over from the grandstands, get the tits out of the pits. As I said, it was an education in the more general view of what women should or could attempt. And I had no idea that that kind of attitude existed in the middle of the 20th century. The first year I went to Indianapolis, I didn't make a qualifying attempt because the car wasn't fast enough. But my team owner made a move, I think, that was completely unprecedented for a team owner. He found someone who would let me take his car out in practice and hopefully let me make a qualifying attempt with it, a car that would not be Ralla's. And that someone was A.J. Foyt. Well, talk about pressure. I'm going to take A.J. Foyt's backup car out in practice at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. So I did obviously make his car go fast enough to make the field, but he decided not to let me make a qualifying attempt with it. But that changed some people's minds when they saw that with a decent car, I could definitely go fast enough. But in 1977, we did have a better car, a faster car. It was a very tricky car to drive. It had what was called a rising rate rear suspension, and it gave the driver no feedback as to where the edge was. I set fastest time of day of any driver on the racetrack on opening day of practice for the Indianapolis 500. And 3 days later, I was still among the top 10. And then I discovered exactly how treacherous that rising rate rear was. It gave me a brief flash of a feeling as if the tires had turned to bubble gum, and then the back end went out. I hit the wall with the right front, and the car was a prototype. There were no spares. Everything had to be fabricated, and Rolla's best fabricators were still back in Oregon working on a new car for the number one driver for the team. It was a real cliffhanger, but on the very last day, with the engine making noises as if it was going to come unglued at any minute, a very sensitive, twitchy steering wheel, I did make the field, and that was quite a moment. I'll never forget that moment to the end of my life.